simply start the golden text. The fourth chapter of the Night of Reflection on All Beings. Yes, the fourth chapter. From the title of the chapter, we can see very clearly the things mentioned in the scriptures are all related to a world. You know, in the Buddhist texts, it's referred to as the southern continent. It refers to our earth. Buddha tells us this Buddhist teaching focusing on gold. This teaches us 4 principles to rely on teachings, not on individuals. With mating, sadness, this is eternal and unchanging principles, because we see the ancients had some annotations. The dwelling place seems to be inconsistent with what is observed in modern science. What has been observed doesn't quite match up. In situation, we can have doubts, sure. You can't say that. What modern science talks about is correct. What the sutras say are superstition. If we use this method to observe, then we're completely off the mark. Guys, there are countless realms that our naked eyes can't see. We believe what the Buddha said in the sutras. The masters have entered the realm. What's being said, not completely aligned. We can use it as a reference. No need to deny it. Anyway, just say it like this, because if you all look at this in the annotations, for example, it talks about this, the Tangahan saying, "Why does the moon have a shadow?" This silver character means silver leaves. Well, now this. Those who have received a scientific education, they will absolutely deny it. We don't need to argue about these things. If you can't fully understand it, just keep a bit of doubt. That's all. Have a look. Secondly, it's the Earth Store Bodhisattva Mahasattva, the Buddha of 100 worlds. Servant, admire the mighty power of the Tathagata. Transform into countless worlds. Wind includes all beings' karmic retribution. If it weren't for the great compassion and power of the Tathagata, such transformations couldn't happen. But Buddhas, Bodhisattvas help sentient beings. Skillful means needs multiple approaches. In essence, no 2 paths. This is perfect wisdom. High-level skills. What is being expressed? There are many facilities. They're not for us ordinary folks. Mindset. This concept, what can be achieved, is what can be reached. Understanding. In everything, you definitely can't. Just look at the present. A year ago, it was about the means, and you must definitely look at the purpose. Our purpose is pure. Unlawful means can also be pure. That's the cleverness of it. if the purpose is evil. It means evil if purpose is wrong. This is like parents in the past would teach their children. It's just like how a teacher guides their students. Sometimes you scold him, sometimes you hit him, sometimes you really lay into him, but the intention is like a mountain. It's about moving towards him. Learn towards the good. The outcome later on was good. If you spoil them every day, just going along with this child's heart, when they've been pampered and spoiled while growing up, to mistreat and break the law, well, that's just wrong for parents, isn't it? What about the methods and skills of the Buddha and Bodhisattvas in teaching sentient beings? That's even more clever and special. What we see in the Avatamsaka Sutra. Like the holy Brahman, the nectar of good kings, and the method of the Dharma, su am I do woman, greed, anger, ignorance as means. It's heading in the opposite direction, but in the end, if you look at the results, they all lead to a state of coolness and freedom. All can stay from greed, anger, hate. You attain the complete merit of self-confidence. So it belongs to skillful means. Now, in the Kittagarbha Sutra, we also see this phenomenon. It's even more extraordinary than the performances of these three bodhisattvas in the Avatamsaka Sutra. It's all about using hell. These wicked ghost kings. Those ghost kings, they are all manifestations of bodhisattvas. Well, that's not a real ghost king, is it? I mean, how could a real ghost king take part in the Peach and Plum Heaven Palace with Shakyamuni Buddha's teachings? Our human realm is a level above the ghost realm, much higher. People can't even participate in the gatherings of the world-honored one. How could a ghost possibly participate? Within these ghost kings, there are those born with vision. All great bodhisattvas. They are all figures like Kittagarbha Bodhisattva. In other words, they are all Kittagarbha Bodhisattvas. Today, we can understand teachings of Buddha to truly generate the intention and study according to the theoretical methods of this sutra. Generate great faith. Hell is not empty. I vow not to become a Buddha. We've basically joined the Kittagarbha Bodhisattva club ourselves. They are also figures of the Kittagarbha Bodhisattva. What does the realm represent? Suffering, right. All the suffering beings in the world haven't experienced suffering. They haven't found enlightenment. Bodhisattvas stay helping beings. Bodhisattvas are willing to stay in the world forever, teaching, guiding people. No, Buddhahood. Actually, that not becoming a Buddha is just a formality. It's not that the real Kittagarbha Bodhisattva hasn't already become a Buddha. He's been a Buddha for ages. So many of his students have become Buddhas. So how could the old fourth not become a Buddha? He doesn't occupy Buddha. The Buddha is like the principal, but he doesn't act as the principal. He forever remains a teacher. The students have now become the principal, while the teacher is still working as a staff member at the school. That's the gist of it. We need to understand this. Kittagarbha Bodhisattva. For the Buddha, it's a performance for us to see. He's the Buddha's teacher. The Buddha is his student, but today, the teacher is in the position of a Bodhisattva. Student Buddha. You must definitely show it. We need to learn this, yeah. In any situation, we should always remember to set a good example for sentient beings. In today's society, people, how many people know filial to their parents? How many people know to respect the director? The fourth is a teacher and also an elder. We should promote what we don't do. Wait, who do it? We're here. Some old masters come here to visit. Or perhaps we could go to other places to visit other lamas. We need to understand, yeah, that is older than us. He's been a monk longer than us. At the seating, you must definitely invite him to take the seat of honor. Even though we are guests. Yes, guests. We should indeed also give him the top seat. Why do we do this then? Respect teachers, value what? You definitely shouldn't just sit up straight and proper when someone offers you a seat. It's not that you can't, you're the guest. You should be the main subject, that's right. But when we invite him to take the seat of honor, yeah, it's more beneficial for teaching and guiding sentient beings, yeah. Need to understand this principle. Think of the Buddha's words and all beings' welfare. That's right. Now all sentient beings. Most people in this situation are increasingly greedy, angry, ignorant, and arrogant. The three poisons increase harm. Disaster situation. Where does the disaster begin to resolve? From the human heart, right? Isn't Kittagaba Bodhisattva here to set an example for us? Today we're escaping from the heavenly palace, and the Lord of Heaven is the host. Sakyamuni, Buddha and Kittagaba Bodhisattva are both honored guests. Buddha praises Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva shows respect, world-honored one. Respect each other, yeah. Why is that? For all sentient beings. We need to understand this meaning. We all need to learn from spiritual image. Bodhisattva. It's not about putting down those above you. It's about respect. Like. You see, it's all about being humble and respectful. Becoming a Buddha. The Buddha doesn't boast about his abilities due to his power and authority. Today I have this ability. In this vast and boundless world, manifesting to help all sentient beings, using Buddha's blessings. Actually, doesn't rely on the Buddha's power, he can do it himself. With humility and respect, we set an example for those who come after us. We have the ability to do it. I'm also deeply grateful. The value of collective strength. Today we're holding a performance here. No matter size of this performance, we need rely on community. Strength on stage off stage. The community inside the temple and the society outside. They put in their money and effort. Kind praise. It's all about the blessings of divine power. Bodhisattva understanding. So, having a sincere heart of gratitude. Getting confused over and over, not knowing. Although the Buddha has taught me, he reminds us all the time. We don't realize. You see, from morning till night, no matter when, we dedicate our efforts, reporting fourfold grace and easing suffering of the three realms. These two sentences become second nature. Do you mean the same thing or not? I really don't get it. If you truly understand, every sentient being has done me a kindness. Supporters are kind. Those who praise, liu and those who offer support are kind. Those who slander, who harm, do they have any merit? Yong and those who cause harm have merit. Do trappers still have merit? So these, going against the grain, where is his merit? His merit calls us to reflect. It makes us alert. The Bodhisattva teaches sentient beings from both the positive and negative sides. You know, the positive encourages goodness. And the negative helps you. Stay alert. It helps you during the Dragon Boat Festival. When you see this side of things, you think about it and you realize, this isn't good, so I should cut off my ties. Experiencing the various consequences of the evil serves to remind you, to awaken. Without these dense clouds and thick layers above, people get lost in the midst of good fortune. Don't know awakening. So often when adversity strikes, a person suddenly awakens and turns back. What about those who don't recognize kindness? Well, there are just so many things like this in the Oath Store Sutra. We need to take the time to really understand. It's all about the beings who experience the results of their karma. Karma and consequences, right. These suffering beings, especially referring to the heavy sins committed in hell, where the suffering is incredibly deep. Kitigaba Bodhisattva uses great vows to help these suffering beings. In Indonesia, he manifests skillfully. Whatever method is needed to teach him, that's the method used. Extremely skillful and adaptable. Behind the scenes, this transformation is impossible without the Tathagata. Such transformations So these things using voice, the practices in our Buddhist teachings talk about the law of karma, the methods of practice. It's all a reminder for us, all right here. With heartfelt and earnest teachings, we are guided. Take a look, the news below. This scripture down here is extremely important. I am now once again blessed by the Buddha since the time of attaining Buddhahood. All beings in the 6 realms freed the Buddha is ahead. After entering nirvana, this period, time is long. We've passed through it up ahead. Animation, the matters of suffering beings. Entrusted to Kitigaba Bodhisattva. And those who are present, 1,000 Bodhisattvas. Kitigaba Bodhisattva focus. This place has a few words that the Bodhisattva takes on. The Lord's instructions, he follows the teachings. He's become that. In other words, the Buddha is not in the world. Represents Buddha. Kitigaba is the Buddha. We've been waiting for a Buddha to appear in this world. So from this, we can understand what we've seen in this experience. Then we can exist in the realm of emptiness. Everything seen in lands of all Buddhas. The manifestation of Kitigaba Bodhisattva is the pure void becoming the Dharma realm. Which world would be without a Buddha appearing? Kitigaba Bodhisattva represents all the Buddhas. It's not just that, before the Lord's passing, Kitigaba Bodhisattva was already acting as a representative. Before Maitreya Bodhisattva, Maitreya Buddha appears. All the lands of the Buddhas. In the period after the Buddha's passing, before the next Buddha has yet to appear, Kitigaba guides beings. Kitigaba Bodhisattva is truly worthy of respect. The great vows on the ground, all the Buddhas and Tathagatas can't help but praise and admire them. Why is that? Those he aids are hardest to save. The sentient beings the Buddha saves are often familiar with the Buddha many times. The roots haven't matured yet, and they are still creating all sorts of bad karma. Sentient beings hard to save. Kitigaba. So this sutra, we need to read it carefully and reflect deeply here. Last meaning. And then we realize that this teaching is also considered fundamental in all the scriptures, especially in our current world. It also applies to the beings around us. This is the fundamental teaching for our practice. Grasping this concept matters, eliminate sin, can cultivate all good deeds. Why is that when you truly understand? Rooted in delusion, it is neither good nor evil. By truly comprehending, understanding it, this isn't easy. It can't be done without a high level of wisdom. The next sentence is even better. O Great One, your face shows calmness. It's comforting. O Great One, please don't worry. Suffering beings, the Bodhisattva guides them. The Bodhisattva takes it all on their shoulders. They take on the mission of teaching and guiding beings. Please look at the scripture. Secondly, the Buddha highly regards all beings who have not yet attained liberation. Desire is habits cause suffering, trapping beings in rebirth, leading to confusion. All arise from the scriptures. Without the right path, we spin in the cycle, leading to illness. Confusion is hard obstacle. This is the Buddha. Tell Kitigaba Bodhisattva. We usually say that it all starts with Kitigaba Bodhisattva. The Bodhisattva represents us. Buddha's teachings for Bodhisattva start with us. We are here. The Buddha's teachings for the Bodhisattva actually begin with us. Here we are. What kind of state are we in? The Buddha has laid it all out for us here. We can't express it, can we? We're confused, turned upside down. Put clearly. It explains. It reminds us. All sentient beings who have not yet attained liberation. Two words, liberation. Understand. Thanks, that's about the counter-instruction. Haven't you resolved your troubles yet? The current term is called liberation, but the troubles haven't been liberated yet. Liberation refers to birth and death, the 6 realms of rebirth. You haven't been able to break free from the 6 realms. So these 8 words refer to the sentient beings within the 6 realms. Let's talk of sentient beings. The 4 holy realms outside the 6 realms have beings. They are sentient beings, and those who lack liberation. Beings in 6 realms. Sentient beings in 6 realms. What's the situation? Nature is not fixed. Surname